Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It all started with a whisper that Luna had been hearing for weeks since she discovered a curious detail in the hospital records. She had a gut ache that would not go away. She initially dismissed it as a coincidence or a system error. However, the truth grew louder the more she tried to ignore it. Hayes's file had something wrong with it. Mismatches in blood type, inconsistencies in the progression of height and weight. She wasn't even supposed to be near those records, but Hayes' file was flagged for a genetic compatibility test because she was a junior researcher in the pediatric wing. That's when she first began to consider the possibility that Hayes and Finn were not biologically related. She tried to put an end to the idea right away because it was so ridiculous and outlandish. Finn had raised Hayes with the same gentle, devoted care that she had always admired, and she adored Hayes. However, the whispers would not cease. They screamed from the shadows whenever she saw Hayes giggle, his eyes blinking with a sparkle that didn't quite match Finn's or Steffi's. They echoed in her sleep, lingered behind every glance Finn gave Steffi, and screamed every time she saw Hayes giggle, until the day she discovered the envelope Luna had buried her suspicions deeply. Luna wasn't even sure why Steffi had entered Steffi's private drawer at Forrester Creations to find it in a locked cabinet, perhaps looking for designs, possibly examining Steffi's birthday present from the interns. However, she did not discover fabric and envelope with the words confidential DNA reevaluation on it. The contents were unmistakable despite the aged paper and broken seal. Two monikers, Hayes Forrester and John Finnegan, and in addition to their connection, not a match. Heartbeat stopped for Luna as she read the lines over and over, wishing for the words to change and become more normal. Her fingers trembled, however they didn't. They did not. That was the turning point in everything. Every warm meal at the Cliff House suddenly felt like a lie. Every picture of Finn with Hayes on his shoulders appeared to be a mask, concealing a secret that only Steffi could see. With this devastating information, Luna was torn between loyalty and destruction. Luna deteriorated into a shell over the course of the days without imagining what would occur if the truth burst. She was unable to eat, think, or breathe. The unthinkable then transpired. Hayes collapsed at daycare, high fever, breathing irregularities, and a frantic call from Steffi had Luna rushing to the hospital with the help of pediatric specialists. Finn was already there, distraught, attempting to stabilize his son, except a strange event took place. Hayes needed a rare blood transfusion urgently. Finn demanded to be the donor. Finn, on the other hand, became white when the lab returned with the red stamp. Incompatible blood match. He gave it 2 blinks. He muttered, "That's impossible. He is my son." But Luna was aware. She knew the time was right now. It could no longer be concealed, not when Hayes's life was in jeopardy. She separated Finn from her. Her voice faltered. She whispered, "I need to show you something. I beg you to not hate me." She gave him the envelope that Steffi had struggled so much to conceal. He slowly unfolded the results by clenching it in his hands. His eyes darted across the document, sucking the blood from his face. He remained silent for what seemed like an eternity. Merely silence, uncomfortable, raw silence. He then said in a low voice, "She lied to me." Although his pain shook the air like thunder, his voice did not rise all through. "She gave me the impression that Hayes was mine." He backed away when Luna tried to console him. "Why did she not inform me? I deserve to be informed." His tears of pain were too much to bear. He stormed out of the hospital room and drove to the Cliff House right away. When Finn walked in, his eyes were wild and his heart shattered. Steffi was still trying to recover from Hayes' sudden collapse. How much time? He almost growled when he asked. Steffi gave a confused blink. How long have you known that I am not the father of Hayes? The color vanished from her face. What she spoke softly. What are you discussing? But it was pointless. Finn shook violently as he held up the paper. Why didn't you tell me about this? Why weren't you honest with me? Steffi mumbled, then finally gave up. I was planning to, but I couldn't find the right time. Finn, you were so happy you cherish him. Her justifications, however, were ineffective. Everything Finn knew was based on a lie. Who exactly is his father? He insisted. Show me now. The second shocking revelation followed. Steffi said Liam in such a low voice that he barely heard it. Wide-eyed Finn staggered back. Liam. He thought quickly of Hayes' conception, the paternity test, and the brief time Steffi and Liam had shared a bed before. She ended it. You informed me that he was not the father. The first test said it was you. Steffi cried. It was unquestioned by me. However, when I received the second one, I was skeptical. Finn, I was scared. He chuckled hard. Scared you let me live a lie because you were afraid you allowed me to raise Liam's son like mine. His eyes welled with tears as he retreated. Everything was a fabrication. While Liam was at Spencer Publications, he got a call that broke him. Luna got in touch with him directly because she couldn't handle it on her own. She said softly, you need to come to the hospital. It concerns Hayes. Liam raced there in a state of panic and confusion, only to find Finn shaking outside the pediatric unit. What's happening? He inquired. Finn slowly stood. He muttered, his eyes full of broken rage. You're his father. Hayes is not my son, but your son. Liam was struck by the words like a freight train. What? No, Steffi said, that can't be. And Finn cut him off. Well, she lied to us both, I replied. There was intense tension between them. Liam struggled to process the realization that Hayes, the child he had loved from afar, was actually his flesh and blood. After hearing the news, Finn retreated. He's inside trying to save his life. You ought to visit him. His real father is you. Liam was taken aback and Luna shook violently. As Finn left, chaos ensued. After that, the Forrester and Spencer families were inundated with the news. Brooke went up to Steffi, enraged that no one had heard the truth. Rich was torn between protecting his daughter and remaining loyal to Finn, whom he now considered a son, and demanded answers. Hope was taken by surprise, and her heart shattered with anger and confusion. So, you told everyone lies again? She asked Steffi with trembling voice. How many lies can you cover up before someone finally exposes you? Even Eric, always the voice of reason, struggled to find the right words when Finn showed up at the mansion asking, was any of it ever real? The consequences were volcanic. Finn left the house on the cliff. He avoided Steffi and stayed in a hotel room, drowning in thoughts of the life he thought he had. Everything was now a ghost. Every laugh, every bedtime story, every tiny footprint on the sand. He began to question his own self-identity, trustworthiness, and foundation. Finn was numb when Luna went to see him. In an effort to assist, he said quietly, you did the right thing, but I can't get rid of it. I can't shake it. In the meantime, Liam struggled with the guilt that he had missed Hayes' early years because he had been suddenly thrust into the role of father. He confessed to Hope, I could have been there for him. I instead believed Steffi's fabrication. My son was raised by Finn. Hope made an effort to remain steadfast, but the cracks began to show. What does it entail for us? One night she inquired, are you planning to abandon me and return to her? Liam did not have a response, and that unpredictability only served to aggravate their differences. Now all by herself in the Cliff House, Steffi struggled with guilt and shame. The weight of her choices was crushing her spirit as she sat in Hayes' empty room with his favorite stuffed animal in her arms. Despite his disappointment, Rich paid her a visit. He said gently, you ought to have told the truth. Secrets always come out the other side.
Steffi.
Broke down as he held her. I just wanted to keep my family safe, however the harm was done. Custody became a topic of discussion in the weeks that followed. Liam desired ownership of his son. Steffi insisted on maintaining control. There were lawyers involved. The emotions were high. The scandal was picked up by the media, who ran headlines like "Paternity Shocker at Forrester Mansion" in tabloids, in addition to "DR for raises wrong son." For years, Forrester Creations suffered a setback. Steffi's public image deteriorated as a result of investors' doubts about their leadership. Unable to cope, Finn took a leave of absence from the hospital to travel, escape, and contemplate. Luna, heartbroken and filled with guilt, attempted to assist but was pushed out of every room. Finn went back to the hospital one night months after the reveal. Hayes was getting better when the boy saw Finn yelling, "Daddy," with his arms outstretched. He grinned. Finn was frozen. That word did it no longer belong to him, but at that exact instant he sank to the ground, took Hayes in his arms, and wept, not as a result of biology, not as a result of lies, however, due to the fact that true love does not originate in DNA. The soul is the source of it, and what they had shared could not be erased by any secret. Luna's environment had also changed. She had broken up with Steffi, strained her relationship with Finn, and ended up at the center of a scandal that she had no intention of causing. She was aware, however, that she had done the right thing. The truth had to be revealed. The birth of new beginnings necessitated the death of secrets. However, in the world of the bold and the beautiful, there are never truly satisfying resolutions. They are only the beginning of yet another shocking turn. Luna overheard two nurses conversing as she walked through the hospital corridor one morning. A brand new patient, a man who claimed to be Hayes' father, but he wasn't Liam. Her eyes grew wider. Could there be a different turn? The tale was far from over. It was just getting started. With the weight of what she had just overheard burning in her ears, Luna remained frozen. Just outside the nurse's station, a brand new patient had shown up. Someone claiming to be Hayes Forza's real father, and it wasn't Liam. While the nurse continued speaking, she heard her heart pounding in her chest. One nurse whispered, "He said he never signed the birth certificate, but that Steffi told him to walk away years ago. Something about it being too complicated with her family." "I thought Liam was the father," said the other. "Nope, this individual says he has evidence. Everything. DNA affirms that he is now prepared to fight for his son." Luna's thoughts raced. She had already witnessed the devastation brought about by one paternity revelation. Is there more to this nightmare than meets the eye? She needed to learn the truth. She had to find out who this unidentified man was before her mind could catch up. Her feet began to move, leading her down the corridor to room 407. A man she hadn't seen in years was sitting on the edge of the hospital bed, and she immediately recognized him. Mr. Jack Marone, the adoptive father of Finn. However, this time he didn't appear to be a visitor. He had the air of a man who had something to prove. "Jack?" Luna asked in a trembling voice. His eyes lit up with recognition. As he slowly looked up, Luna, he gave a faint smile. "You've grown up, now you work here." She nodded. "I heard you told someone you are Hayes' father." "I said." Jack did not even move. "I stated the truth to them. It's time it came out." Luna sat stunned in the nearby chair as her knees gave way. "However, everyone believes Liam to be the father. The results of the second DNA test showed that." "Are you saying that?" "Both are incorrect." Jack gave a solemn nod. "Shortly after Finn and Steffi's initial conflict, I had a brief conversation with her. It occurred during a turbulent period. She was enraged, hurt. Just now Finn and Sheila had reappeared. She required support. I was present once it happened. We agreed not to discuss it again." His eyes darkened as he paused. "However, I've known for some time. I felt Like Hayes was Finn my own son in some way. I recently performed a personal DNA test. Hayes shares my ancestry. His biological father is me. Luna felt her stomach turn. Is Steffi aware that you are here? Jack gave a headshake. No, not yet, but I'm no longer hiding. Luna suddenly realized the full extent of the catastrophe. There was more to this than one lie. Steffi had buried three distinct truths: that Hayes was not Finn's son, that Liam was not Finn's real father, and that she had concealed a one-night stand with her husband's father. This set off a chain reaction. The repercussions were nearly incomprehensible. And in the middle of it all was Hayes, an innocent young boy caught in the middle of a storm of adult betrayal. Steffi, on the other hand, was barely holding herself together at the Cliff House. Rich had attempted to console her, but her home, once filled with love, was now cold, silent, and echoing. Finn had vanished. Liam appeared distant and perplexed. She was now beset by an even greater fear. Jack had come back. Additionally, he was the only individual capable of detonating everything she had attempted to suppress. Steffi had believed Hayes to be Finn's because she couldn't bear the idea of raising a child by Jack, the man who had cheated on Lee and whose presence had always made her feel uneasy. She had known the timeline was tight since the beginning. She had no idea that the truth would come out, but it now had. She also had to deal with it with rage. In his eyes, Ridge stormed back in. Is it accurate? He insisted. Steffi looked up. What, did you have an affair with Jack Marone? With rage, Ridge shook his